I feel like the last quarter of the year tends to be the most exciting for makeup launches, especially right now because we're getting Halloween collabs, we're getting holiday launches, we're getting holiday sets. And I want to talk about all of that today in a good old-fashioned purchase or pass. And I want to dive straight in talking about the newest announcement from e.l.f. So this was originally leaked, but it was just officially announced that e.l.f. is coming out with lip oils. And this launch is both surprising and unsurprising for me. It's unsurprising because, yeah, everyone's been doing lip oils. But what is surprising to me is that it took e.l.f. this long. Because in general, I feel like e.l.f. is pretty quick on duping high-end brands and launching things that are very trendy very quickly before anyone else at the drugstore. So tell me why they were the last drugstore brand to bring us lip oils. Like, I feel like we wanted these from e.l.f. 2 years ago. But regardless, this is the Glow Reviver lip oil from e.l.f. I feel like they were definitely going for some sort of a Dior lip oil dupe, or at least some inspo there. The packaging even reminds me a bit of the newer ones from Merit. And thank you, e.l.f., for giving us a good doe foot. I am so particular about the doe foots on a lip oil. And there are some brands, you know, going back to Merit, that give us these dinky little applicators. And I'm like, I have to dip in like 5 times to get this all over application from this component. Like, I love that e.l.f. went with the larger doe foot. I think that is the ideal applicator. There's a nice range of shades. You know, I love a lip oil. Today I went a little bit more bold. I've got like, I don't know, I went for a bit of a pink vibe right now. If you watched my lipstick declutter recently, if you missed it, I can leave it linked down below. But when I went through all of my lip products, it had me really inspired to do more pops of color and more bold lips. I used to wear bold lips so much more frequently. So I'm like, you know what? Let me challenge myself today. Even when I was putting it on, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I love this, but I'm also like, wait, I have not worn bold lips like this, especially not like a pink shade, in so long, but I'm kind of feeling it. Anyways, you know, a lip oil actually is my preference though. So this from e.l.f. I'll definitely be picking up. I am so curious to see how it stands up against the other lip oils at the drugstore because I feel like it has some pretty fierce competition. The Milani ones, you know, they're my favorites. I talk about them all the time, but also the lip oils from NYX, the lip oils from CoverGirl, they all have really great formulas. So I'm going to be curious to see how this stands up against them. But the price point is a little bit lower at $8 because most of those other ones are around like $9 to $12. So I have very high hopes for this lip oil, though I just feel like it should have launched years ago. Okay, speaking of this should have launched years ago, Anastasia Beverly Hills is doing minis of Modern Renaissance and Sultry. This should be like the most exciting launch ever, but it's not, and it would have been if they brought it to us years ago when we wanted this. So this I was like actually so confused to see, if I'm being honest. They've done minis before, and now they're doing minis in these with the plastic packaging that are more set up in the square shape. I don't know, it's just every year people are like, bring back Sultry, and then they bring it back kind of, but as this mini. And I don't even know that this mini captures the essence of Sultry, because for me with the Sultry palette, this might be an unpopular opinion, but what I love so much about the palette, the brighter pink shade and then the like rose gold shimmer, those are my 2 most used shades in Sultry. So the fact that they're not in this palette, I'm like, oh. And I don't know, maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I feel like those shades are not as well loved as more of the neutrals and these like glamorous shimmery golds and coppers. But I feel like I wanted to love this launch, and I probably would have if it came out years ago. Actually, most of the palettes I want to talk about today, I look at and I'm like, okay, that's great, but we wanted that years ago. So let's talk about Natasha Denona Mini Triochrome palette. Okay, do you remember when the original Triochrome palette came out? I said in a video, like, we want a mini version of this. Well, now we do. This one is very blue themed. First of all, I'm impressed that they were able to create this and keep it at the $27 price point, because in general, Triochromes tend to be more expensive to produce. But I will say, this only has like really like one. The other one's kind of more like a duochrome. But I think I would have been so excited about this years ago. I just personally wear blue eyeshadow so infrequently that even at the $27 price point, like, this just would not make any sense for me. That being said, I have loved all of the looks I've seen created with it. I think they're so striking and beautiful, and I think you could make such intense and bold looks with this palette, but it's not for me personally. I would be more into the new baby bronze that they came out with. That is 3 shades of neutrals, which, you know, that's me. That being said, I feel like I have those shades, so I'm not going to pick it up. But if you were interested in either of those, I do have an affiliate code for the Natasha Denona website, 15% off with the code KellyGooch. So if those are your shades, you know, you get a little bit of a discount. Another one where I'm like, okay, yeah, would have loved this years ago, but we kind of also have had this years ago. But let's talk about the new Moondust palette from Urban Decay. This is not really anything new, but it kind of is. They're bringing us a new version with a bunch of Moondust shadows in them. I have loved the Moondust shadows forever. I feel like they have had this huge resurgence recently after going viral. And it's always interesting to watch a lot of these older products just get so much buzz years later, like the Moondust shadows or Clinique Black Honey or even the Charlotte Tilbury like blush and highlighter wands. They have all had this like very delayed hype about them, or I guess not even delayed hype. Like they were hyped up in the beginning, but there's just this resurgence of popularity from them. And what's so funny to me is that this palette is named Urban Decay Space Cowboy Moondust Eyeshadow Palette, which one is a mouthful. But I think it's really interesting that the angle they took this wasn't just it's the new Moondust palette. They said it is the Space Cowboy Moondust palette because that shade in particular is the most popular one, and a lot of times I'll hear people describing the Moondust shadows as Space Cowboy. Even though that's not the name of the shadows, that is the name of one shade of the shadows. But that particular one has gotten so much buzz that it is more recognizable by the shade name than it is by the actual product name. So they've added that into the palette, which is so interesting. First of all, I really like the price point of this. I know you look at it and you think, Kelly, what do you mean? It's $39 and it's 4 eyeshadows. It is, but the Moondust shadows already are $24 for one singular shadow. So basically for the cost of less than 2 of them, you're getting 4 of them. So here's the thing. I guess it kind of depends if you're like, yes, I would use all 4 or no, I wouldn't. If you just want one sparkly topper coat that you could use with anything, I would say just buy the one single shadow of Moondust or of, now I'm getting confused, of Space Cowboy. But I think there's a lot of value in here to offer 4 of them for essentially $10 each when you break down the math there. I think it's a pretty good deal. Something I am so excited about is the Fenty launch into Target. So I'm not just excited that Fenty is in Target. Yes, that's cool. But what I am pumped about is their offerings, what they brought to Target. They didn't just bring their normal line over, which makes sense because the price point is definitely a bit more luxurious. I mean, not luxury, but it's a little more high end, so I don't know that it would necessarily fit at Target. So instead, they've kind of adapted things to offer us Fenty Snackz. I did not make that up. That is what it's called. And they have minis of so many of their products. They've got little minis. They've got sets, including minis. I think this is genius. I'm so excited about this. And it has me like really eyeing other brands that have partnerships with Ulta already, because that's why Fenty came into Target, because Target had the partnership with Ulta. Fenty is at Ulta, you know. So I'm like, who's gonna be next? Will we get more high-end brands coming into Target with this more accessible price point offering minis? I don't know. I'm sure a lot of brands are kind of watching Fenty to see how this does. And they did send me the like mini versions of a few of the products that are gonna be at Target. So just for scale, this is the mini foundation. This is the Pro Filter. For reference, it is 0.4 fluid ounces. It retails for $18 compared to the full size that retails for $40 for 1.08 fluid ounces. They also have mini versions of the Gloss Bomb. Those are going to be $15. They've got mini Kiliwatt highlighters for $20. When it comes to something like a highlighter or a blush, I am always team mini because it's so hard to go through a highlighter. The few times I have completed a highlighter in my life, I've had to actively work towards using it up. So having a mini essentially is kind of like having a full size, depending on the size of your collection and like how frequently you're gonna use it, of course. But so team mini, I think it's so cool that Fenty is launching in Target, and I'm gonna be so excited to watch how it does, what products they might add to the line in the future. Let me know your thoughts. My pink vibe today kind of matches our next launch, the Patrick Ta Holiday Palette. This retails for $65 and has a variety of face and eye shades. So like most Patrick Ta cheek palettes, you have the mixture of the cream products and the powder products. And then on the other side of the palette, you have the shimmer shadows. I will say right away, I'm drawn to this because it's pink and pretty, but I feel like I have had to actively talk myself out of buying every pink blush. And I have finally started to like slow down on my obsession with bright pink blushes. I feel like this was a really big trend last year, and we've kind of seen the evolution of blush tones into something a bit more muted or even more peach, which I would say is more so what I'm personally into these days, though you wouldn't know right now because I went very pink today. But I think this is pretty. I think it makes sense. I think it is a pretty launch for like holiday time. But I do also think that the very bright pink cheek is kind of on its way out of trending. That doesn't mean like you should or shouldn't wear it. I'm just saying I think we will start to see less of that in the next year or so. Like this is another one where I'm like, maybe a little bit late. I could see this being even more of a hit last holiday season. Okay, I love Halloween, so let's do a little Halloween segment right here. I feel like we're finally getting Halloween launches. We've only started really getting like a bulk of Halloween launches in the last couple of years. I really think back to like 2017, 2018, no one was really doing Halloween launches, or if there were not as many of them. Now we get so many Halloween launches. Okay, so first of all, this is precious. Profusion did a collaboration with Casper. I love Casper. I love Halloween movies. Maybe it's the Scorpio in me, but whenever it becomes October, I'm like, I need to watch a Halloween movie every single night. But not necessarily like scary, gory movies. Like I want to watch Beetlejuice, Casper, It, which we do have an It collab we'll get to. But I think this is really cute. I like that Profusion is already a really affordably priced brand, and their quality is pretty high for the price point. So you have this gigantic palette. It's very colorful. The brushes are kind of squiggly like a ghost. Like I think that's such a cute touch. The products in this collab range from $6 to $18, so pretty accessible price point. Honestly, I think it's just really precious. It's one of those things that I don't know that there's the biggest audience for this. Maybe though. I don't know if it's like as heavy hitter as like when we've seen Hocus Pocus collabs before. Like, are people as excited about Casper? I can't say it's like the biggest Halloween movie, but maybe a bigger Halloween movie is It. I love It, okay? Especially the newer ones. This is the collaboration with Makeup Revolution and It. I don't know that it's for me. A lot of these colors are like really bright and punchy. I think it's cute that they made the palette in the shape of the little boat from the movie. You know, I can't speak to the quality, but I think the execution of this is pretty well done. It looks very spooky. Arguably a little bit kind of gory and gross maybe, but I think it represents the movie well. Okay, also on a side note, I need Halloween costume inspiration. So if you have anything, please let me know, because I'm going to a Halloween party next week and I don't even know what I'm going to be yet. Last year I was Carrie Bradshaw. I really liked that costume. Though I don't know that it was as recognizable as I hoped. People kept asking me if I was a ballerina. 2 years ago, I was Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. If you have ideas, let me know. I was thinking I want to be Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors, because that's like one of my favorite musicals of all time. But that's another one that I just know will not be recognized. So people are going to be like, what are you supposed to be? Also in the Halloween theme, we're getting a lot of Wednesday collabs. Have you watched Wednesday on Netflix? I started it when it came out and I only got through a few episodes. I should probably go back to it because I've just heard so many great things about it. But Kitsch did this really cute launch with that show. They have these like little bows. I think it's sweet because these are all like hair things. Sometimes with the makeup collaborations that are Halloween themed, you know, you really need to like colorful makeup if you're going to get any use out of that. But these hair accessories, I think, are maybe a little bit easier to incorporate depending on your personal style. So I think this is really cute. It's well done. And bows in general are already like a really big accessory in hair right now. So I think this is a cute collaboration. We just got the holiday launch from Haus Labs and I'm a little bit underwhelmed by it, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts. If you would have just shown me these photos, my guess would have been Kiko Milano. Like that's what this packaging is saying to me, which I don't mean that in a negative way, but I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. It feels predictable holiday. Like these are the tones we get often. I can't say it's the most underwhelming launch of my life, but I also can't say it's anything revolutionary. We've also got some new lip colors here and I'm interested to see. I think the like burgundy bold lip is going to be making a comeback. Like you see that here. First of all, that's something I also associate with like 2016 or maybe even before that. But I know I was so obsessed with the like deep burgundy lip that we wore outside of fall. Like that was an all the time lip in that like 2015, 2016 era. And I've seen a few brands launching this. I know when the Cherry Cola lip has been trending, it's kind of that like same essence. So I'll be interested to see. I feel like, funny enough, I've noticed a lot of very 2016 or like older makeup trends having a bit of a revitalization, but in a more modern way. I'm saying modern very loosely because 2016 was just a few years ago, but in more of an adapted way to fit some more current makeup trends. Like we're seeing the burgundy lip, but we're seeing a different spin on it with like the Cherry Cola influence. Or the last few years, I feel like there's been a revitalization in baking, but it's been adapted to be like the pink under eye powder. Le Labo has a new scent. Funny enough, this is a very floral scent. The top notes are lavender, bergamot, and neroli. Middle scents are amber and musk, and bottom tonka. This almost feels like I haven't smelled this yet, so I really would like to. But the vibes of this almost are giving me more like spring or summertime as opposed to a fall launch here. But you know, maybe if I went into stores and smelled it, I might feel differently, but I'm intrigued by this one. Also in the fragrance category, Phlur just launched body and hair mist, and I'm kind of intrigued by these. So they've got three. There's the vanilla skin, amber haze, and mango mood. I would say I'm probably most interested in vanilla. I love any vanilla based fragrance, or even the amber one. These come in two different sizes. There is an 8-ounce bottle for $35 or a 3-ounce bottle for $20. And you know what these remind me of? And I'm wondering, I'm like, are we gonna start getting a lot of these? They remind me of this concept, the Sol de Janeiro sprays, because those are actually the same sizes that they do. They have a 3-ounce and an 8-ounce right at similar price points. So I'm wondering, you know, we've seen this huge rise in just fragrance in general, but I'm wondering if we'll start seeing a lot of these fragrance brands pushing for more of these body sprays, especially based on the success of these ones from Sol de Janeiro that have like really broken the internet. I'm interested in picking one of those up. I probably need to just chill when it comes to perfumes right now, but I at least want to go to Sephora and smell those. The new shades of the Rhode Peptide Lip Balm have basically broken the internet. I cannot escape these things. They came out with 4 new shades: espresso, toast, ribbon, and raspberry jelly. And I actually really like the Rhode Peptide lip treatments. I think they're very much worth the hype, but it's been so interesting to watch this huge rise of the lip like balms in the squeeze tube packaging. There's something so nostalgic about it, and it's almost hilarious to me because I think if we would have seen this 6-7 years ago, we saw so many brands launching in a squeeze tube like that, I don't think people would have been excited. Like that type of packaging was almost like frowned upon years ago. Like, oh, I don't want packaging like that. It's been funny to see this like revitalization in that style of component, and so many consumers preferring that squeeze tube. And I don't know why that is, especially with a product like this. I don't know that there's necessarily a better alternative to that, but have you noticed every brand is doing those like squeeze tube lip balms? First we got clear ones, now everyone's doing tinted ones. I will say though, personally, I really like it. I think there's something so nice about having a product that gives you a wash of color but still has that hydrating, nourishing property to it. I also think the tones in here with like the raspberry and the espresso are spot on for fall, so I probably will pick one of those up eventually once I use up the Rhode one that I have currently. We also saw a ton of new holiday sets launching at Sephora, so I did a part 3 in my Sephora holiday sets video. Yes, I have done 3 parts. That is how many sets are at Sephora right now, and I will leave the full series linked down below. I've done 3 videos on best and worst Sephora sets plus 1 video on best and worst advent calendars. But I will say the most recent Sephora sets that were added, there are a few where the math just does not add up, so I will leave that video linked down below. Hopefully I can save you some money with that one, because some of them, like, it doesn't even make sense to buy the value set. But I want to hear your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Let me know down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.